Over to you. If you introduce yourselves first.
Thank you, John. We are very happy to be with you today. Thank you for being here. We share the floor with Sanae. I'll let you introduce yourself, Sanae, if you will.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. We are very pleased to be with you. I'm Sanae. I'm the International Director of Sales for Collisimo, and I look forward to giving you some information about what we do. Back to you.
And Benoit, I'm a Sales and Marketing Director at Collisimo. So as John mentioned, we are going through three main parts. The first one will be like a snapshot of the French market with key figures and trends. The second one may be about Colissimo proposal, and to finish with sustainability, which is a key issue for all of us. So if I go through the presentations and go through the main figures, about the e-commerce, the French markets. If we go quickly through 2022, we went through a downturn after this booming of 2021. We were experiencing a big growth in volume during this COVID time, and just after we went through a downturn regarding the product sales. And we, in France, experiencing a minus 15% decline of volume. And in the meantime, the service sales were increasing by 36%. So on the average, the e-commerce market was increasing by 13%. In 23, we have the same situation, meaning that the products sales is increasing by only 1% in terms of value, meaning in euro. But knowing what we are facing, big inflation, around 5 to 6 points in France, the volume are declining around 5%, I would say. And in the meantime, the service sales are increasing by around 22%. I think we might find the same situation throughout Europe, I'm guessing. So if we go through key figures, we see that the French market might be the second one after Germany on the European continent. And if we consider the UK, maybe the third one, is around 150 million euro turnover. And we are delivering, the whole market is delivering about 900 million parcels. And if you consider the whole market and the B2B as well, we are delivering 1.7 billion parcels every year in France. What about the consumer, and what about the average basket? It's still increasing. It was a bit lower than the one in 2021, because during confinement we know that we're doing a lot of expense, a lot of selling on a website. Is currently of 65 euros, and it's increasing by 7% since 2021. And we can say that e-commerce is very widespread in France, since 96% of the household are receiving parcel every year, and it's an average of 31 parcels per year. So the trend is very widespread nowadays in France, as you might notice. So what is the delivery options? What are the habits, the usage in France? So you can see that 3 parcels out of 4, 3/4 of a parcel are delivering at home, which is like the best satisfactions when you're the best satisfactions is home delivery, and a quarter of it is outside the home, which is booming actually. We experience an increase of a growth of 5% compared to 2021. So there's a big trend nowadays. And the most important thing is to give choices to the customer. So you want to have choice according to the habits and to his convenience. You want to receive the parcel at home or out of home in PUDOs or in post office. What is a successful delivery for French e-buyers? What they like, when you have to pay attention to, when you're addressing the French consumer. First of all, as I mentioned, the consumer, the French consumer, wants to have choice. He wants to be delivered at home or out of home according to his convenience. He want to have an easy service, and he want to be able to track the delivery process and be able to see at what stage of the delivery the parcel is. And he want to be warned in case of hitch and difficulties in advance. He doesn't want to be facing bad surprises at the end of the delivery process. And he want a fast delivery as well, which is the four main needs of the French consumers. Do you have any questions? Moving quickly through the French market, do you have questions? Yeah.
How do you define Hello? How do you define fast?
Fast is the same day delivery or
next day.
Or next day.
Next day.
Yeah, next day is a big trend, and in big cities nowadays, is same day delivery is becoming the trend.
Thanks. Joanna Sabru from Mind Retail. Do you have any knowledge? You hear me? Mind Retail. I'll just ask my question.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You don't have that. Okay.
Thank you.
So Joanna Sabru from Mind Retail. Do you have any knowledge that the French market is very different from others, or do you think that can be some
Okay,
kind
I can hear her.
of knowledge
Okay, fine. I
for
can hear her.
maybe the European
Can hear
market
the
or even worldwide, or is it very specific?
I think the needs and requirements are very similar to Western countries at least. But what makes the French market very particular is out-of-home delivery, first of all, which is like a quarter of the parcel are delivering out of home, which is a big trend and is an historical issue, if you will. It's a historical need, first of all. And second one, where we have a very good quality of service regarding the home delivery, because we have standardized, very big mailbox, which are big size, and we can easily deliver a lot of parcel very easily. Is the reason why home delivery is popular as well. So what I mean by standardized is 75 of the household are equipped with this mailbox, and the size of it is quite big. It's 36 centimeters by 34 and 44, which is big enough for 90%, for 80% to 90% of the needs.
Any other questions? I lived in Paris for a while, so I know a proportion of a lot of French people live in apartments, and it's not always easy to get access. They don't all have guardians anymore. So I understand you have unique access to all apartments because you have the key.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
It's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you have a key, we can directly reach all the mailboxes, whatever the buildings and the locations. So we have a very good quality of service. Is the consequences of it. So only 2% of the parcels cannot reach the home finally. You cannot find any solution. So 98% of the delivery are successful. We made a first attempt. The following day, we make a second attempt, and we have like an interaction with a consignee, so it can change the option, the final choice. And we have the delivery man can call the consignee as well at the last minute. So we improve the quality of service, and we reach 98% of quality of service for home delivery. And we have a very good quality of service for Pudo as well, because we have a good coverage throughout France.
Have you got some slides on your Pudo network?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
will
Okay. It's coming up.
later.
I won't
It's
ask any
coming up.
questions about it.
Yeah,
I've got
we-
one controversial question, so apologies in advance for this question, because in the UK we have a lot of problems with strikes at the moment. Yeah, the rail strikes. Yeah, yeah. No. Yes, exactly. And my point is, in France, there's a certain reputation,
Yeah.
for the French workers to go on strike. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a big problem in the UK, by the way. Okay, so one concern I might have is that being part of La Poste and a state-owned company, that strike action in France is a problem for you.
I would say that, and the media are putting the stress on it. So I think it's a minority in France, actually, and it's very concentrated on transportation, which is very impactful because we need to move to reach our office, for instance. So the impact in the media is very huge. But in fact, the reality of on the daily basis that we can work easily and have a change because they are used to it. We can deal with it, and the remote work help to face that situation as well. And regarding your question concerning La Poste, we didn't have any strike at all. And if you are a customer and we are clients of La Poste or Colissimo, we haven't been disturbed at all, even one single hour.
Well, this year or last year or how?
Yeah. I think the negotiation with the unions within the group is very.
So to be clear, you have not lost one single delivery day because of strike action.
Absolutely.
For many years.
For many years.
Okay.
For many years.
See, it's important. My job is to not let them wiggle out.
Yeah.
I've got to nail them and make sure that we get the truth, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Okay.
We made a huge transformation throughout the cooperation, and we made it peacefully. I think we have a new know-how to manage unions and a big change.
Good.
I think something we are proud of because we are good at it.
Any more questions before we move on to the next section? No? Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Benoit. So Benoit has said it all. The French e-commerce market is booming, with customers now having access to international retailers through website. And every single step of the e-commerce journey is being thought through by the retailers. From the variety of the offers, from the best deals they can find, from seamless returns, everything is being thought through to keep the e-commerce growing, which we haven't thought going to be the case after the pandemics. I think we all agree that 2 years after the end of the pandemics, that the e-commerce is going to keep on growing, and also in the French market. I'm here today to speak to you about Colissimo's value proposition. But before that, let's just talk about value. How the perception of value changed across generation. So what used to be for older generation driven by need, by quality of service, driven by reliability and cost effective, is now for your generation more motivated by ease, by speed, social responsibility, and eco-friendly solutions. That makes the customer satisfaction measure very difficult to capture nowadays. So we at Colissimo rely on the NPS, the Net Promoter Score, to measure our customers' satisfaction, but most importantly, to measure our customers' loyalty. So I think we can proudly say, with an NPS of 58, we have a very healthy relationship with our customer today. That means that they are they are actually acting as promoters and ambassadors of the brand and helping us increase sales. I'm not sure if you are very familiar with the Net Promoter Score, but in terms of the methodology, in 2022, we have sent questionnaires to 15 million consignees who have received shipments the day before. And we have received back feedback from 800,000 participants. So these are the participants behind this data that you see there. As you can see, our Net Promoter Score has significantly increased and improved in the last 3 years. And the good news is that the NPS for the first quarter of 2023 is scoring at 62.
Wow.
Which is 2 points more than the same period last year. So obviously, loyalty and quality, they don't happen by coincidence. So what is it that make our customers rate us this way? Obviously, it's the fact that we offer a wide range of products and services, and we give them delivery choices. We provide flexibility, we provide convenience. If you take, for example, the home delivery product, which is the best seller, I would say, or the most favorite option that our customers opt for, the NPS increases to 66, just for this, the home delivery option. Obviously, other factors play into this score, such as the condition of the package at the time of delivery, or the size of packaging used, or the rural versus city delivery, for that matter. So, any question on the NPS before I move on to now?
Can I just check? Does everybody understand how NPS is calculated? Does anybody not understand? Yeah? So you all know that you ignore this section, you ignore anybody who scored 7 or 8 because they're kind of on the fence, they're neutral, and you deduct 9 and 10 scores, the high scores and all the others, yeah? So you're currently, the last 12 months you were 58 on a sample of over 800,000, right?
Yeah.
That's very good. Very good. And this is independently assessed, right?
Absolutely.
Right, okay.
By an outside company that does this, that conducts the survey.
Do you know if the other posts, domestic posts like Deutsche Post or Royal Mail or Correios, do they also do an NPS score? Can you compare with them?
I wouldn't know for a fact if these 3 entities do, but coming from the express industry, I know that each express integrator, for example, measure that. But it depends on how they measure it and what they capture within this KPI. Yeah. So
I think it'd be really useful for somebody on the second row, Mr. Needham, taking lots of notes, to find out how this NPS compares to all the other posts. Yeah? And tell us all in your next e-newsletter, yeah? Okay, so he said he's going to do that, everybody. That's amazing. Thank you. Carry on.
We in any case, for us, it's a very important KPI that we measure throughout the year and also, in particular, throughout the peak season.
Yeah.
Okay? So again, as I said earlier, having an NPS that high, it's not a matter of coincidence. I mean, there are factors behind that lead the customer choice to act as an ambassador of a brand. Reliability is one of them. So when we talk about reliability, the keywords that come to mind are capacity, scale, customer reach, but most importantly, consistency, right? So back in the pandemic, Collisimo had an outstanding service during these very difficult times. And that's for a reason that the company, La Poste, has tremendously invested in the 5 years before the pandemic in building capacity. Today, Collisimo has got 19 sorting hubs with 6 next generations platforms located in industrial zone and near airports. We're talking here about hubs with an area over 20,000 square meters that are able to process between 33,000 and 37,000 parcels per hour, right? So these 19 hubs, they are connecting to thousands of sorting and delivery stations that are connecting to over 70,000 mailmen and mailwomen to reach every single household in France. So in 2022, we have delivered 416 million shipments to 69% of the French population. And the service, the lead time commitment for Colissimo is 48 hours from the injection in our platform. But most importantly, we sustain this performance throughout the year and especially in a peak season. So whereas some market players, they are sometimes constrained to cap their customers because we have built the capacity. We take every single shipment throughout this difficult period. So we don't cap customers when it comes to handling tremendously increased volume through this part of the year. So just giving you some. Okay. So just talking about the commitment, the lead time commitments. In 2022, we have delivered more than 9 shipments out of 10 on time. It's very important to know that we have this performance and that we could sustain it throughout the peak season. Right. So as I said earlier, 416 million shipments delivered to 69% of the entire French population. So the second factor that is impacting the Net Promoter Score, as I said earlier, is our ability to provide a diversified portfolio of products that provides customers with convenience, with flexibility, but most importantly, with cost-effective solutions. So we talked earlier about the home delivery being one of the most preferred delivery option by our French customers. So it's very important to know that it is very successful because of our ability to deliver in a mailbox, as Benoit was highlighting earlier, and that 95% of the shipments are delivered within the first attempt of delivery. It's very important to mention that. Then, of course, everybody is very interested when it comes to Pudo. We had a lot of questions today, also meeting with customers about this product, developing and gaining 5 points year on year, moving from 20 to 25% of the entire total delivery scope. We have the largest Pudo network in France with 26,000 points. So out of this 26,000 pickup and delivery points, we have 9,500 postal offices. And this is unique to Colissimo, right? And of course, returns, that is nowadays, if we talk about e-commerce, the first question that comes to mind, what about returns? So we have a range of returns products. Obviously, first of all, the choice of delivering from the same mailbox we delivered into. So you can just, if someone doesn't want to make the move to go to a post office or a PUD office, you can just put the return parcel in the mailbox and then the mailman will come and fetch it. Or we can deliver in any of these PUDO network I just mentioned. And if your end customer happens not to have a printer, we have labelless solution where you can print the label at the nearest post office. So we give a wide choice for the returns management. And of course, all the products I have mentioned are supported by advanced shipping technology. So we have a suite of technology products, plug and play solutions supported by either API or EDI integration, depending on the customer requirement. Any question about the product offering before I move to the next point? No?
Yeah, Paul Needham from CP Research again. Not too sure if it's relevant here, but the question about sustainability of deliveries to home versus deliveries out of home. Often, you often hear from the locker companies, they say that it's more sustainable to deliver to a locker than to home. Others say that it's more sustainable to deliver to home. So I don't know if this is the right point for the question, but that would be...
I think that comes next.
That comes later.
Yeah. Hold your fire. We'll answer that.
That's the question for later.
It comes next, yeah.
Okay. But that's a very, very, very good question. Very good question. So I want to, for the convenience part. So obviously convenience is another factor for which the customers decide to attribute or to give you a higher NPS. I'd like to start by saying that in April 2023, Collisimo has been elected the #1 most useful brand by the Observatory of France's favorite brands. We take a special pride in this vote. It means simply that we respond to the need of convenience, flexibility, cost-effective to our fellow French citizens. Just for you to understand how this study is made. So we're talking about, it's a panel of 4,900 French people, representative of the French population, and they make a choice. They had to choose from 1,300 companies across all industries. This is how we came up to this prestigious, I would say, vote, and we take a huge pride in this one. So, as I said earlier, we have 26,000 PUDO points. It's not a coincidence that 45% of the French population live less than 7 minutes walk. It's simply because we have the 26,000 PUDO points that we make it very convenient, given that almost every single French person, 45% of this number live 7 minutes walk from it. This number is very important because, as we said earlier, the proportion of customers that would like to go for a PUDO delivery is increasing, and 26% of packages in 2022 in France were delivered in a PUDO mode. Okay, so and furthermore, 73% of the online shoppers are satisfied with delivery to pickup points. So that means that this number is highly to increase going forward. So this is a question to the audience, maybe. In your opinion, what do you think? What are the expected delivery times for a French consumer? 1 to 2 days, 2 to 3 days, from the order being placed.
Should we say less than 2 days or less? Hands up. Okay. 2 to 3 days? Longer than 3 days? Okay. Some didn't vote.
So, do I have a number? Okay. I think you're spot on. When we look at this slide,
All right.
indeed, it seems like 2 to 3 days following the order is the direction we are moving towards when it comes to the French consumers. And I don't know if you recall, there was a slide presented by Benoit where we had 34% of the e-buyers consider successful delivery to be a fast delivery as well. So basically, our commitment, as I said earlier, is 48 hours within the injection in a Colissimo hub or network, right? Because 62% of the e-tailer offer next day delivery, we understood at Collisimo that speed is going to impact our ability to grow business. So we have undertaken in the past 2 years significant projects and initiatives to optimize our network and to accelerate delivery to our end customers. So in 2022, we have achieved 100 million shipments delivered next day. This number accounts for almost 30% of our deliveries. And this number increases further when we deliver in main French cities. Like, for instance, if I take Paris area, this number can increase to 95% of the shipment delivered next day. Right? But having said that, our commitment remains 48 hours, but we are now going forward. We are accelerating our volumes to respond to the requirement and the need of speed that we see coming up. Going back to what we were saying earlier of the change in the pattern of demand and the behavior of e-commerce buying process across generations, whereas back in time, speed was related to urgent shipments like healthcare, aircraft on the ground, SPL products, or high-end fashion and luxury. Nowadays, consumers, they expect speed for baskets value lower than 50 euros. So this is where the market is going. So before I hand over to Benoit, I mean, obviously there are other factors than value and speed and convenience and flexibility. Nowadays, the retailers or the customers expect their retailers and their retailers' partners and delivery partners to be sustainable and to think green and to think social responsibility as well in every products and service and activity they undertake. So I will hand over to Benoit sorry, to elaborate on how Colissimo has strived to become the market pioneer and impact the market's behavior in terms of being green and responsible. Back to you, Benoit.
Thank you, Sanae.
Do we have any questions on that middle portion, on the second portion? Right, we're now going to go into the final part, which is all about sustainability. Benoit.
No questions? No, it's okay. So I'm going through the third part, and we are talking about sustainability, which is at the core of our strategy and is deeply ingrained in our DNA. So we are working on it hard every day, and we're doing so for 20 years now. Thanks to a visionary CEO, we started our journey in the early 2000, and so we are very proud because we are carbon neutral since 2012. Already 11 years since we are neutral in carbon, so we are measuring it, reducing it, and doing compensation throughout reforestation in Europe, in France, and in Africa as well. And now it's not greenwashing because we are like entreprise à mission, we said that in French, so the third party coming and checking that everything we do it properly and is based on reality. And by 2025, we're going to have 50% of the whole delivery will be carbon free. So we are very committed to it, and we reduce by 42% the carbon emissions since 2013. So it's a huge impact on the environment and on the carbon print. And our goal is to be carbon free by 2040. So we are very committed to reduce our emissions. How do we do it? Through like transportation, of course. So we working closely with our clients, and we adopted the bulk load so that we can put like up to 30% more parcel in each truck, reducing the amount of trucks on the road. First of all, we are building new warehouses which are environmental friendly, using like renewable resources. We are recycling the water, for instance, and we're putting a lot of investment on the last mile delivery as well. So nowadays we have like the first electrical fleet in Europe, and we are going to invest around 200 million within the space of the next 5 years. So we are carbon free. We'll be carbon free in Paris by the end of this year, and the Grid Paris will be carbon free by the end of 2024. And we're doing so regarding the 25 bigger city in France by the end of 2025. So we are going fast in that direction as well. Do you have any questions regarding that particular topic? No questions?
I'll ask you at the end.
Okay. I will answer your questions. So we're now working, we are launching a new campaign with our clients this week, and we are working closely with them to reduce and adjust the size of the carton, of the package, to the product they are carrying. And we noticed that we are carrying 50% of air. So it's very impressive. So we have a lot of work to do. And the satisfaction of the consumer is very bad when we receive a parcel of a size. I think we are very unsatisfied with it. And we make we make a satisfaction questionnaire towards the consumers, and 23% of them are unsatisfied by the package. They find it too big for the product they are carrying. So we try to reduce it by working closely with our clients. So we're working also on packaging. So we are first of all working with our startup Ipli. So they are like achieving, like they are producing like reusable packaging. They can reuse the package up to 100 times. So we're trying to widespread that trend in the French market, and we are developing as well, working on standards. Try to standardize our packaging and the packaging that our clients are using as well. Any questions so far? Yeah?
Ooh. There you go.
Hello, I'm Andres from HelloPrint. Do you think that this is exactly the customers that are the diffractors in your NPS? All these customers that are really, that's your main pain point?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. We observe on the NPS regarding why the oversized, it was a question of oversized package.
We measure it.
Is dropping very, very dramatically, yes. It's a big impact on the satisfaction, for sure. Yeah. So we're coming to our client because we can have a NPS client by client. So we come to them and we said, we observe that you are carrying, for instance, 30% of air in your package is oversized, and you see the consequences of your business because your clients, your customers are unsatisfied at the end of the journey.
And we measure this for every customer. So for every customer, we tell them what their customer think about their packaging. Is it too big? Is it just the right size? Because we understand it's a factor that impacts the NPS for us and for the customer as well.
Everybody clear on that? So if I understand, you ask every single customer when they receive whether there's how much air is in the package and if it's an issue. And if they say yes, you then pass that information to your customer, because there are two customers, the customer who ships the parcel with you and then their shopping customer, right? And then they then have the chance to find a new packaging alternative that reduces...
We advise them to do so.
And do you have a portfolio of suppliers who you can introduce them to who may be able to fix the problem for them? Or?
Yeah, we don't sell packages.
No, I know you don't.
So we don't try to sell anything in that case, but just give them advice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we put in touch with other partners which can deal with that issue as well.
Okay.
We don't sell anything. It's just to make the e-commerce more eco-friendly. I think is a common issue.
When we do QBRs with our customers, we actually talk to them about their NPS and we go down into these factors, and they really appreciate very much the feedback in terms of packaging. And the ones we do that with, they really do take actions on reducing the size of the packaging if they carry in air. And we do follow up, for example, for the next QBR on the same topic.
QBR is a quarterly business review?
Yes.
See, I worked that out.
I'm sorry. Quarterly business review. So
it's okay. We have a very intelligent audience here. They knew.
Business-driven audience.
Yeah. Okay, good stuff. Carry on.
Yeah.
Any other questions on that? You have some more slides though, right?
Yeah, and the question about the PUDO and home delivery as well regarding the
which is better?
Carbon emission as well. Yeah. Of course, if you consider the delivery to the PUDO point, it might be less emittive because you are concentrating the number of packages you are delivering at that point. But the thing is, if you use your car to pick up your delivery, it's far above the home delivery. So, each case is a different case. So you have to go into details instead of having a broad generalization about that issue,
But I suppose the answer is if it becomes a multiple parcel delivery to a PUDO or a locker box, it's more like the old B2B delivery, where for the same carbon footprint, and by the way, nearly all your fleet is electric, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't get into the debate about diesel versus electric because we'll be here all evening, right?
Yeah, it's a difficult balance.
It's a difficult one, but the point is that you had in one of your slides, 7-minute walk.
Yeah, that
Or what percentage of the population was it?
it was, I think, 54%.
Right.
54
Okay.
living within 7 minutes walk.
So your strategy, presumably, is to increase that percentage so it becomes 80%.
Yeah, actually, it's the fact that we have 26,000 PUDO
Yeah.
make it easier for almost half of the population to walk less than 7 minutes.
Yeah.
So what
and
we're
do
trying to say is that the PUDO, there is always this question, which one is more sustainable? If you are walking to the PUDO, absolutely. But if we take in a car to go to PUDO, then it raises the question
Yeah.
whether home delivery is more sustainable.
So logical question, I think. So you said before you talked to the consumers, the recipients, about issues such as air in packaging, correct? So are you also asking them, do they...
I'm sorry, I have to do this because I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Go on.
Okay, so when you talk to the consumers, the recipients, about issues such as too much air in a package, too big, do you also talk to them about, do they use a PUDO point? And if they do, how do they normally go to the PUDO point? By foot,
Yeah.
bike,
Point.
by train, by car, etc. Because that would be good to measure. Nobody is measuring it. But if you talk to your end recipients, that might be one way to measure it. Then you would have more data.
Did you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you going to add that to your list of questions?
We don't measure it because it's in our
But it's
clients'
good,
hands.
good idea.
Yeah, it's difficult to measure, frankly.
So are you going to add it to your survey?
We will take the points back
Yeah.
because this kind of behaviors are evolving, you see? The habits of walking or driving or taking a bike, it's never like stable year on year. I mean, the habits are changing, but it's definitely a good point to take into the survey. Why not? So we'll take the feedback to the marketing team.
I think this time next year we'll have the answer. Yeah.
So,
Okay, guys, you have 3 more minutes.
okay. Just for the conclusion, in a nutshell, just to memorize all the figures. So you saw that we are delivering. We are,
45.
yeah,
It was 45, not 54.
exactly. You can see here.
Yeah.
So we are neutral carbon since 2012. You know it. We are processing through 19 hubs throughout France, and we have a good quality of service. So we can deliver 98% exactly of parcel at home delivery. We offer a large range of services, PUDO solutions as well as home delivery solutions to reach the consumer needs. And we are reducing the carbon emission by 42% the last 10 years. And we will be carbon free by 2040, and half of the parcel delivered by the end of 2025 will be carbon free
Aggressive.
already. And we have a large amount of PUDO throughout France, which is very easy for our clients, customer to pick up their stuff. And we'll be very happy to exchange with you if you have any question now.
Any questions? Yep.
So I see you're doing amazing in France. Is there any plan to expand to other countries in Europe?
So first of all, we are doing 22% of our turnover. Our turnover is 2.5 billion euros, and we're doing 22% of business internationally, both inbound and outbound. We help our clients to export, and we help foreigners, foreign e-merchants to reach the French market as well, first of all. And secondly, we work hand in hand with our DPD sister companies, which is part of the group as well. So we have common business throughout Europe and to Asia as well. Yeah.
So, about crossing borders, we are also looking into, we know the difficulties that the retailers outside of Europe who do not have a legal entity in Europe, who are trying to serve French customers, or even better, use France as an entry point for the other European countries. We are having this in mind, and we are working with partners who can provide fiscal representatives, importer of records, exporter of records. And also we have, as part of our division, where Colissimo sits, we have a partner, a logistics partner called Via Post that can does between the four-wall services such as cross-docking, shelving, pick and pack, kitting. So we can provide, I mean, if a company would like, that doesn't have a legal entity in France or in Europe and would like to come into Europe for final mile distribution for French and European customers, we can help them. As Benoit said, we have partners sitting in European countries, or we can provide local French partners for these specifics that are really difficult sometimes. Yeah, if you don't have a fiscal representation, it's very difficult. But we take this kind of opportunities, I will call them, on case by case, but we will definitely provide support when it comes to that. And I have in mind countries like India, Turkey, Middle East. We are already in talk with a lot of partners to bring business into France, because this is where the direction is going. The e-commerce shopping is going to keep on growing going forward. So it's a must, I would say.
Yeah.
We are connected to 210 countries throughout the world. So we have solutions throughout the world, mainly. Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. So we heard earlier this morning, from the Amazon guy, that e-commerce is set to grow 12% each year for the next few years. So it carries on. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I want to thank you for asking some fabulous questions. We have the best journalist in Europe here, Paul. Yeah. So he's going to write all that up. It's going to be great. You should read it. Yeah. Okay. And thank you, Sanae and Benoit, for a fantastic.
Thank you very
welcome.
much.
Thank you for your
Guys.
participation. Thank you.